But Hamza, I met my girlfriend from Tinder.
Yeah, and every other guy met your girl on Tinder too. Keep your mouth shut, bro.
Probably try to Rockefeller hover. Down go to war like a soldier. Yeah. Plus they tried to count me out thinking that it's over. But I got to fight. Rocky Balboa. Yeah, I got to fight like Rocky Balboa. Yeah, I got to fight. Rocky Balboa. Yeah, I got to fight like Rocky Balboa. Rocky Balboa with the fight. Yeah. I got to fight, yeah, all of my might. Left foot, right foot, left foot, right. Gotta walk for, got the dub in my sight.
Using Tinder for a one-night stand is not so different from jacking off and watching porn. It's still instant gratification, a short-term pleasure that you're choosing over long-term detriments.
But Hamza, I get to have sex with a real human female. That's very good, isn't it?
Now you can say that I'm full of myself, I'm narcissistic, I've got a big ego, whatever you want to say. The thing is, I've lived that life. And the best case scenario of the casual sex, just hooking up with girls from like dirty girls from Tinder, is to hopefully reach a point where you no longer want to be in this lifestyle anymore. The best case scenario is to hopefully not be there anymore. Men need to stop using dating apps because men on dating apps are fighting for the bottom. 90% of the girls on dating apps are sleeping with the top 10% of guys, and the rest of the 90% of guys, you are fighting over the worst 10% of girls. Is that what you're doing? You're swiping right on a fat girl and hoping no one finds out because it's better than fapping. Men as a whole are driving down our value. And now the entire dating market is skewed. You have guys like me.
Oh, he's being narcissistic again. Shut up, bro.
I'm gonna break my camera one of these days because of you, Jeffrey. Relax. You have guys like me who have had an abundance of women. Three in one day. Let's say on average about 10 to 20 per year from these apps. And then we have guys who are watching just like you, who have never even kissed a girl before. I've reached that point of success in the dating app, the casual sex lifestyle. I'm at the other side of the trench after putting in many years, like my peak years. Well, peak years are gonna be in 30, but at least my peak years so far, I've invested those with this one purpose to get pussy. And I'm telling you from someone who's on the other side of the trench, it's not worth your effort. The return on investment on chasing women is pathetic. Using dating apps can shortcut how quickly you can meet a woman. And now all the Jeffries have picked up, oh, okay, Hamza, just tell us how to get laid, Hamza, tell us. That should have never been your goal in the first place. I'm not saying for you to go full monk mode dopamine detox just yet. You should consider it, but maybe just not yet. But the better strategy for young men is to first almost forget about women, at least online, especially online. Forget about women and put as much of your effort as possible into your own growth. And then when your own growth starts to compound, women will just naturally enter and exit your life. You won't have to purposely outreach like cold DM, cold message bitches. They'll enter your life by themselves. So let's say you stop using dating apps, but you'd still be, of course, open to meeting and connecting with women. That's fantastic. Now go and focus on improving your social life, because you feel kind of lonely and think about how much time and effort you're putting into like meet a woman to try and get some stinky hole, and you haven't put that into actually creating a new social circle where you could be the leader, the initiator of this social circle. And imagine the status, the confidence, and the feeling of social connectedness if you actually did that. Then when you've got your social circle and your social circle is doing some fun events and you're going to parties, you're going to festivals, you're going to like hikes and adventurous trips, that's how you meet the type of women that you actually want to meet. And when you meet women like that, you get into the flow state. So can we have a little graph of the flow state? So the flow state is like a magical moment. It's usually for a minute or maybe even a couple of hours where you literally have zero thoughts. It's one of the fundamental parts of being a happy human being. And to get into the flow state, the challenge and the reward of a certain activity needs to be pretty high. So the challenge of the activity needs to be high, it needs to be difficult, but the reward of it needs to be high risk, high reward. And that puts it perfectly. When we do something that's high risk, high reward, we are so focused and we feel alive. Tinder, is that high risk, high reward? It's literally low risk, low reward. But speaking to a woman in person, that is when you will feel alive as a man. That's the natural action that we no longer do because we don't need to. We don't need to go and speak to attractive girls in person because we can just speak to them online. And so your skills get rusty, and then you become the type of guy who can't even speak in person, who sounds like an autist in person. Mass DMing girls on Instagram or messaging a lot of girls on Tinder lowers your value. In your city or in your town, eventually you do get a name of yourself of being that guy who's just active, who's just messaging every bitch, who's matching with every girl and trying to message them all the time. That lowers your perceived value. But when you fish with a net and not a pole, when you hunt with a shotgun and not a sniper rifle, you are bound to get some catches. So if you want those bottom of the barrel women, then go ahead, I'm leaving them for you. But if you're anything like me, hopefully you can kind of trust me and see, okay, this guy's kind of lived my pathway for the next few years, and he's saying that it's not even worth it. Because what is the height of this experience? What truly is the height of this experience? The minutes of pleasure, the extra ego boost from being able to tell people that you slept with lots of girls. The only guys who care that you slept with a lot of girls are other damaged guys. You don't want to impress them. Of course, we don't want to use the word impressing, but the guys that you do want to impress, the high value, high quality guys, they're going to look at you and think like,
who the f*** is that guy?
These higher value guys who you'd like to network with, don't look up to guys who spend their time sleeping with somewhat attractive but somewhat unattractive, mildly drunk girls. No one really respects that apart from other bottom of the barrel guys. And there's one thing that I very, very much disagree with from the red pill and all of the alpha male spaces online, that everyone online, all these guys are going to tell you that, okay, women who sleep with a lot of guys are sluts and they're low value, but men are different because men are like the keys. And if a key opens up a lot of locks, then it's a good key. But if a lock gets it, the stupid. Slutty men have the same disadvantages as slutty women. Never get it twisted. High value men who have the option to sleep with a lot of girls, but just kind of don't, and they choose the highest, value that they can attract. They're the best of all. But a guy who sleeps with a lot of girls, especially if they're not very high quality girls, is still a basic slut. He's still someone who's seen negative. As someone who is in this life, I'm telling you, it's not a good thing. It's not like a good persona to have, because it's only attractive to other low quality people. And so by pursuing this life, by being active on dating apps, you become far less attractive to the higher quality women that you actually wanted to attract in the first place. Fucking camera is gonna overheat again, bro. What the is this? I'm tired of this camera, bro. Dead ass. This is pissing me off, man. Every video I record for 10 minutes and it's overheating. Bro, if I can't fix this, dead ass, I'm just gonna sell this camera. I'm getting tired of this bro. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I'm getting fully pissed off, Sam. Holy shit. I now want to welcome you to the unfiltered section. Now, the unfiltered section is a rare part of some of my videos where at the end, we're about 7 minutes and 40 seconds. Sam, check that for me. Am I close? 7 minutes and 40 seconds into the video. By now, all of the people who don't like me, all of the little spurgs with low attention spans have already clicked off. So I know that only the boys remain so we can get unfiltered. I'm going to say some controversial. So welcome to the secret club. And yes, my shirt changed. We're like 2 days later because as I was recording the first part of this video, my camera died and I just started raging. So I think if you're watching this video, you know that the modern dating world is and I don't think many young men truly know what that means for us. Because let me ask you a question. You're watching my channel, you probably watch a bunch of red pill self-improvement, men's help type of videos. One thing that they almost always say that everyone is advising you to do is to find your purpose and to prioritize that and to make that your biggest mission in life. Find your purpose, stay on your purpose. Do you know why we're recommending this to you? Because our natural purpose was to partner up with a woman and to have children and to raise those children. The reason why men on the internet are now telling you to find a purpose which isn't women and it isn't this, because we don't have that anymore. Your natural purpose has been ripped away from you because of the modern dating world. If you're watching this, you're probably about 20. Don't be I'm 17. Okay, you're close to 20. Don't be a dumbass, right? You're 17, you're 20, you're 24. Almost all of us would be married with children at this age. I'm 24. 50 years ago, 100 years ago, I would have children at this age. Imagine how purposeful and driven I would be. We are like the lost generation which now don't have a natural purpose to commit and to put our all into. And this, I think, is the reason why most young men are living very, let's just be honest, pathetic lives, because they don't have a purpose. Because it's actually pretty difficult to tell someone, oh, you just need a purpose, bro. Be on your purpose, bro. When they've kind of got a purpose, which they know that they just can't get. They know that they're not going to get married at this age. They know that they're not attracting women, that they're struggling with that part of their life. Now, I know that some men are fine without this connection. Some men, they're the men going their own way. They're like the avoidant style personality and they just kind of, they don't want to date and stuff. I mean, that's fine. Good for you. But I'll be honest, I'm nothing like that. I have a need for intimacy. I feel incomplete when I don't have a partner, like a woman to partner and to connect with. Now, everyone's spurging and all the red pill guys are telling me like, oh my God, he's incomplete without a woman. He's a pussy and stuff. But it's the truth. It is the absolute truth for me that I've always had a feeling of incompleteness unless if I have a woman to love and she loves me. And you know what's weird? I can think back to the points before puberty, when I was a child and I still had the same feeling. The most intense feeling I've ever had in my entire life was about 3 months ago. I was with my girlfriend at the time. We're not together, but I was with my girlfriend at the time. And I felt love as a physical symptom. And the moment that we connected in this way, this one thing, like, you know, it just kind of clicked. And it was like, I love this girl. It was the strongest emotion that I've ever felt, where it kind of felt like every experience I had ever had, I did it solo. I did it whilst being incomplete as a person. And the moment that I loved this girl and I could tell that she loved me, it was like all of my experiences, all of my childhood, my teenage years, everything. It was like she was there through all of them. Like this feeling was so strong that I burst out crying. And I'm not like, you know, a little bit of tears, bro. I don't even know how to explain it to you, bro. But I don't think you'd even be able to like grasp how this felt. But I burst out crying, like a full on like sobbing kind of cry with happiness, but with also like just emotion. Like I'm snotting and everything. I'm like grabbing the snot and like putting it on her forehead and stuff. I've experienced 3 sides to life in terms of dating. I've experienced somewhat of the avoidance style of just not really getting girls and, you know, being somewhat deprived from that intimacy. I've experienced the boy life where I've had the physical level of intimacy in terms of just casual sex with girls. And I've also experienced the emotional connection where I've been deeply in love with a woman, and they don't even compare. Like being deeply in love with a woman it doesn't compare to the other ones like at all. It makes me sad that the modern day that we're in and the dating apps that we're all going on and Instagram and all this shit, it's made that type of connection so rare to find, and not exactly rare to find, but very, very, very difficult to sustain, because it's f***ed our heads. This video has been about us, okay, men on dating apps. But you know, the reason why, if we could start a movement, it would be to get men off dating apps, is because if men stopped using dating apps, women would stop using them. And it's women that need to get off them. It's women that sort of need to get off the internet and stuff, because we as men, we'd okay, let's just be honest. So we'll message a girl who probably isn't good enough for a relationship, but we'd like to bust a nut. And so if we had to use the internet autistic type of ratings out of 10, I don't usually like to do this, but if we did, okay, we can say there's a 5 out of 10 girl and there's a 5 out of 10 guy. Now, 100 years ago, they would have partnered up and they would have had a fantastic relationship. But sometimes, like 100 years ago, like guys were beating their wives. That's like, no, we're not going to do that, obviously, but like they would have partnered up and that would have been like an equal relationship. Now the issue is that this 5 out of 10 girl is getting hundreds over a month, let's say hundreds of communication of messages and texts and DMs from guys who are 7s, even 8s, from guys who have spent 10 years doing self-improvement, messaging her saying like, oh, hey, gorgeous, do you want to meet me for X? Do you want to get drinks and stuff? Now, she can't, like, she knows, but she doesn't fully comprehend that the majority of these guys don't actually want a relationship with her. Now, she knows that. She knows most guys are boys and they just want to have sex. But because she's gotten this much validation, because she's gotten this much attention, her self-esteem has increased. And that sounds nice, but the thing is that's actually problematic, because now she has been deceived to think that she's more like a 7 or an 8. Again, we have to use these stupid like internet metrics, but it does make sense here, so I hope you can understand that. So this 5 now believes that she's about a 7. Now, couple this with the sex sells media. Couple this with the you go girl attitude when, you know, like, oh, you boss bitch, lady boss type of. She now thinks she's a 7. She now thinks she's an 8. She gets 200 likes, 500 likes on Instagram. She posts a picture of her ass. She gets 1,000 likes. She's now not even going to consider the guy who is equal to her, the 5. Because, you know, why would she? Because she's getting messages from these guys who are 7s and 8s. And so she's interested in these other guys too, because they're so cool and they're like, you know, so high value. She thinks that they're pretty much the same level. Maybe they're a little bit better than her, but, you know, not so far. And so she starts meeting these guys. And the issue with this then is that these guys don't want a relationship with her, because these guys want a relationship with the 8 out of 10. And I don't mean it just in terms of looks. Usually we'll say these numbers like out of 10 in terms of looks. I'm just saying in terms of like SMV, like just total value that you bring to the opposite sex. So the guy's like a 7, he's pretty successful. He's been lifting weights for a couple of years. He's got a good body, confidence, status, everything. So the 7 out of 10 guys want a relationship with a girl who's about a 7 out of 10. And this girl isn't, because this girl's still actually a 5. And so now there's this weird skew where all of these girls around here are getting getting by these top few guys over here, because all of these girls are finally getting communication from this guy. This guy would have never actually, probably would have almost never approached these women and actually, made his intentions clear if we did not have such a casual sex culture. Because if, for example, we were only doing relationships, you wouldn't ever even consider a girl who was like far below your standards. But for one night of instant gratification, you may as well. You can lower your standards for that. It's not a big deal. And in this video, I gave you my experience, and I always have to keep giving a disclaimer. Like, yes, I'm giving you the experience, but that doesn't mean that I'm like boasting, sat here like, oh my God, I get so much girls and stuff. I'm just telling you from my experience. And to be honest, if you're watching this far, if you're watching the unfiltered section, then you can probably understand what I'm trying to do here for you. I have had moments in my life, not that many, I'm not gonna lie, not that like long of a period, where I have been one of these guys up here, where I've been in the top 20 to 10% of men in a certain area, in a certain like community. It was when I was in university, I was living in a student accommodation, I was hosting parties, I was going out to nightclubs, I was going out to the same nightclubs, I was lifting weights, I was building up confidence, I had the full like boy vibe. Success compounds. Having, let's say 1 year ago, kissed 5 girls, maybe less than that. 1 year ago, I'm a virgin. Like, I'm talking a few years ago, then 1 year before that. I'm in university now, everything's going good. This is how success in terms of getting girls is on your self-improvement journey. You pretty much get almost none. Like, it goes up a little bit as you work out and you do some things. Then you upload a picture onto one of these dating apps or Instagram. You've been working out, you've finally got abs. You've been working out for like probably about 2 to 3 years, it usually is. Maybe 1 year if you've been like fully, like you had pretty good genetics to start with and you've been like destroying the workouts and everything. But let's say 1 to 3 years, your success is like this. You upload a good set of pictures, and these pictures essentially show that you are the top 10% or 20% of men around you, and your success goes like this. Success always looks like this. Nothing changes for so long, and then it pops when you get into a certain percentage, like a certain percentile of the competition around you. And this should give you some hope. This should show you that you can have nothing right now and you can have a lot. You can have abundance of options a year from now. What was my point with this? So this seems exciting to most guys, and it was certainly for me too. And when you get up here and you start attracting these girls, and yeah, this is the experience, because right now it's almost like this is theory for most guys watching. This is probably theory for you. You've probably not experienced this being up here, attracting these girls. Like a lot of these girls right now, all these girls want these guys up here. You've probably not experienced that. So we're just kind of talking about theory, but it will happen. Now, all the black pill spurgs are freaking out. They're like, oh my God, genetics, bro, genetics. I'm 5'4". Shut up, bro. It will happen. Every man has the capability to get here. I'm just going to say that, and you can quote me on it, and all these spurgs will bring it up. They're like, what about this guy who's 3'7"? Like, there's a lot of stuff you can do to get into the top 10, 20% of men around you. And that should be one of your pursuits. That should be one of your goals, because when you increase your SMV, when you do become one of these guys, the rest of your life gets better in pretty much every single way too. Your confidence goes up, your self-esteem goes up, your relationships are better, you connect with women, which probably is one of your main goals in life, even if you haven't wanted to admit it. You make more friends, you're making more money, just everything gets pretty much better when you increase your SMV and you get inside the top 10, 20% of men. And then you experience the difference. You experience being one of these guys who can't attract one of these girls. And now you experience being one of these guys who can attract these girls, and you feel like you somewhat have the power of thinking like, you know what? This is what I say anyway, but these are just fun girls. Like, these girls are just for fun. These girls are not relationship material. And the exact reason why they're not is because they are on dating apps meeting guys like me. I don't know what exactly the point was because I was trying to get you off dating apps, but I feel like I've just sold it to you even more. And you're like, okay, let me live for a few years. I'll take some shirtless pictures like Hamza said, then I'll go on dating apps. But do you know what? Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. This video is about men need to stop using dating apps, but there are certain men who should use them. I think that's what, like, the point of this video. It's kind of hard for me to express this without being insulting. But a guy like you shouldn't be using them. Just put it that simple. If you're not getting at least at the very, very, very least 5 matches a day on Tinder, like on one app. And honestly, 5's still a waste of time. If you're not getting about 10 to 15 to 20, in my opinion, don't use them, because it has a negative return on investment for you. It f***s up your mental health. You're not even getting any success from it anyway. There's certain men who can use the tools that we have available and actually profit from that and actually do well with them. And if you're currently in the first 1 to 3 years of self-improvement, it's probably not you just yet. And do you kind of know what men these are? You've got to be physically attractive for this. You've got to have the muscle and also the certain type of vibe that actually goes well on these apps, which is the boy vibe. Like, you know, the girls will say, oh, I'm just on here to make friends. They're on there to get dick from the boy. That's exactly how it works. Now, if you could be that guy, you should be on these apps, because that is how you will, it's the streamlined way to meet women right now. The majority of guys, the issue is that they're on these apps without actually being up here. Like, you're just wasting your time. And worse than that, you're negatively affecting your mental health and your energy and your focus. And you're driving down, let's be honest here, you're driving down the value of male attention, because you are one of these guys giving attention to these girls and they don't want it. But they want the attention. They want your notification. They don't exactly want you, but they like opening up the app and seeing that they've got 50 messages. Girls love getting notifications, bro. If you're one of these guys, which you probably are, you are a notification man. You are just a notification to her. She likes getting notifications. She doesn't like you. She's not interested in you. She just likes getting notifications. Now, she mostly likes getting notifications from these guys, but these guys don't actually want to be with her. These guys will message her the one word and like drive. Well, yeah, that kind of. Can I give my example, and then with the girl that I actually got in a relationship with. I should have listened to my own principles, man. I don't know how to wrap this up. I feel like I went on a weird tangent. I mean, that's what I do in unfiltered sections anyway, to be honest. This part's not supposed to be organized. So I want to give you a plan of action of how to use dating apps. Imagine dating apps, going on nights out, Instagram dating as a way to harvest the fruits of your labor. Now, if you haven't put in the labor first, if you haven't put in the work first, there's going to be no fruits to harvest. And so if you're not, let's just be honest, if you're not somewhat successful on dating apps, if you aren't meeting girls from there, if you're not somewhat successful on Instagram and, you know, meeting specifically, not just messaging, don't be a pussy, meeting women. If you haven't met on average, at the very least, one woman per month, which the majority of guys cannot say that they have, then it's because you haven't actually put in the work to have those fruits to harvest, to enjoy those fruits. That means you need to just go and put in more work. You need to go and do more self-improvement first and stop wasting time at the field, trying to harvest fruits which haven't even been planted, like the seeds haven't even been planted. Go plant the seeds first, go water the seeds and everything. Then, let's say every now and then, every 3 to 6 months, you hop onto the apps with your newest pictures, your newest style and everything, because you should be looks maxing too. Now, how many fruits are we getting? Is it worth my time being here to harvest? Once you start getting 5, at the very least, let's say 5 matches a day, then you're like, okay, you know what? It's not a lot, but I can enjoy some time now. I've been working out, I've got a little bit of abs, I've got a little bit of shoulders and everything. I'm gonna enjoy this. I'm gonna message these girls. I'm getting 5 matches per day and I usually only get 1 or something. And this is how it kind of goes. You level up. This is your self-improvement. This is your value. You level up and you take a break every now and then to enjoy what you've currently worked for. The issue is that most guys have done almost no leveling up, and they're here. They're just here saying hey, where's the pussy? Where can I get laid, bro? It's a lose-lose, because when you live this lifestyle of being on dating apps and casually meeting girls, even meeting girls for long-term relationships, you don't improve anywhere near as much. So the more time you spend not in the current race to improve yourself, to just wanting to really, really get girls today, being on dating apps, being on social media, going out to meet girls, the less you're improving. And so if you're one of these guys and you're low value right now, you should not be just stood still looking for the girls, because there's no girls around you, because they're way over there, stood next to the winners. So what you do is you improve for 3 to 6 months, then you stop for a little bit, see how many girls are around you. And there's usually almost none, maybe one little fatty's there at this point. Then you do improve again, 3, 6, 9 months, and then you stop. And now there's 3 girls and 4 girls, and then you do this. You take a break from the race every now and then to enjoy the women around you, but there's usually not that many up until you reach a certain point when you are one of the winners. You're not the winner, but you're close enough to the winner. You're one of the contestants. You're the 3rd, 4th, 5th winner. And this is when you actually have a fair amount of girls next to you. Now, again, most guys will stop here because that's more than enough. Once you hit the sweet spot, and we can say the sweet spot is about here, and you cross that, that's when it's worth taking some time off from the race and enjoying the fruits of your labor, because now you've got pretty much the ripest fruits. Most guys just don't get here because they're just trying to enjoy the fruits of their labor, which haven't even been planted yet way down here. That's why most men need to stop using dating apps. If you've already leveled up a lot, if you're already very attractive, if you already got fantastic pictures, you're way up here and you can enjoy that lifestyle if you want. But again, if you stay there for too long, if you stay out of the race for too long, your value starts to decrease. Because the more time you spend with women, generally your value decreases because you end up doing things that most women want to do, which isn't as much as like self-improvement, like business hours and everything. So the more time you spend enjoying yourself with women, your value starts to go down. So that's how I'm personally structuring my dating app use and my interactions with women is hardcore periods of self-improvement, leveling up. Every now and then taking some time to see like, okay, what do we got? Like what is there? What's on the menu right now? And it's like, yeah, it's kind of nice, but you know, I'll enjoy it for some time. And then another huge period of leveling up. Then maybe I'll take a bigger period to enjoy some time. So for example, let's say I go traveling. So for 1 whole year, I'm going to do self-improvement. I've made this business, everything. I've been, fixing my diet, my mental health, everything around me has been improving to a significant level. I haven't really done much like social/sexual stuff over the last year. So I've improved this much. So now when I go traveling, it's like I can spend some time to, say, okay, like where's the fruits at? And actually go enjoy some ripe fruits there. And my value will probably go down a little bit because I'll gain a couple of pounds. I'll spend quite a fair amount of time not like being very, very productive. But then I'll go through another focus period of work, another period of monk mode, another period of dopamine detoxing, and I'll be up here. And I think this is the best way to structure your dating life as a young man. There's one more point I have wrote down, and I'm pretty sure I'll get banned from YouTube for this. Let's do it anyway. But I'll say it if YouTube people are watching, like it's not going to be that big. Come on, relax, bro. I'll say it in a less way. Because women have got so much of an abundance. Women have got like a god level of abundance right now, like a genuine rock star level of abundance. If you think back 20 years ago, rock stars had like the most options, the most abundance of men, right? They go to a concert. At the end of the concert, 100 girls, 500 girls in the concert would go sleep with them. Women have the exact same thing. Like an average woman has the exact same thing right now. Because of this much abundance, because they've got so many options of guys who are just willing to kind of drop the standards to be with, for guys, it's like, this is how it is. High value guy, average value girl, it's like this. So if this girl's up here, then the guy needed to get her is like way up here. If this girl's down here, then the guy needed to get her is about here. Because of the skew, because there's so many guys who want a certain girl, she doesn't exactly have to be high quality anymore. Now she has to be attractive enough for us to be into her, but even then, like that's kind of losing its value because men are getting more and more desperate. But in terms of relationship, like she doesn't actually have to have relationship qualities for many men to consider her to be relationship potential, because most guys would happily get into a relationship with a woman who high value men who respect themselves wouldn't consider relationship potential. And I've been that type of guy who's gotten into a relationship with a girl who like I shouldn't have. And I think most guys have been there because you're lonely, you're deprived from intimacy, you're supposed to be like married with kids at this age. And when you don't have that, you of course lower your standards. And that's like a pretty big issue that you can see how much work we're doing to increase our value up here. And women don't have to do that work. Most women don't. Now, if these women up here do everything. But the thing is, most of the women you're going to come across as a guy who's watching this type of video, you're obviously not that huge value right now. Maybe you will be in the future if you do the right things. But generally, we're always going to be around like looking at these women around here. And the issue with these women, like let's say the average-ish type from, everything included, 4 to 6 out of 10, they don't actually have to be relationship material to get into a relationship. They don't have to have those qualities of like a fantastic girlfriend. It gets hard to give advice because straight away my mind was saying, well, yeah, then don't get into a relationship with these girls, just f them. And that's exactly what I did. And one of the mindsets through my fuckboy era, the degenerate years, was that, yeah, these girls aren't relationship material. And so I'm not just going to sit here and be a monk. I'm going to go get what I can, enjoy right now, which is I'm not going to be in a relationship with these girls. I'm just going to sleep with them. And then this, of course, brings the whole range of problems that I've already just mentioned. And so what do you do? Let's say you want a relationship right now, but the women you can attract are like far lower quality than what you'd actually want in a relationship. Or you could maybe casually sleep with a girl who's slightly higher quality, but then you don't really want to be in a relationship with her. This is why like the dating market is and my heart goes out to guys who are low value and have a bad mindset, because they'll never get any kind of dating success. They'll never get to date a woman because it is like hopeless for them because they are hopeless. And this is the issue with the black pill. Because they are hopeless, it's hopeless for them. If you know for a fact, if you've got that belief in that drive to be one of those guys up here, and it's going to take you, let's say 10 years, then you're sorted. Because when you're one of these guys up here, you can easily attract these girls, because these girls go crazy for a guy up here, even if they kind of believe they're up here and everything. But these, every now and then, if you're up here, you can start to get every now and then you can start to get some of the girls who are up here too. And I think that's probably the strategy. That's a weird word to say, but it's probably like the strategy if you do want like a fulfilling relationship at the end of all of this, if like that's one of your like long-term goals, is self-improve first for about 10 years. Don't get into a long-term relationship with women you're currently attracting, because they're probably just not as high value as quality as you could get in a woman 10 years from now. And then for 10 years, you've got the choice of going into like full-on no-fap semen retention monk mode, or every now and then you can just go through your boy periods. You can see that I'm not exactly like clued up on it myself. I've been through a fair amount of different lifestyles. I've got like good and bad things to say about every single lifestyle, and I think right now I'm probably in like a mix of all of them, where I dip into monk mode, celibacy and everything. Like I've been celibate for the last 2 months, and semen retention and everything. I dip into this stuff. I go hardcore on the business and the self-improvements, but then I really miss like the intimacy, but then I really miss just the casual sex and the ego fulfillment that comes from that. And so I'm kind of jumping around from each one right now too. So maybe one of you boys can like leave a comment below and kind of give me some advice and tell me like if you had to give me advice right now, what I should do. But I think potentially it's the way that I've said, it's just do the self-improvement, come up a little bit, start either dating or sleeping with these girls, spend some time enjoying yourself, then do more self-improvement, date and sleep with these girls, then do more over here, then here, until eventually you get to a point where you're really high value, you've been improving yourself for 10 years, you're financially very, very successful, you've already got your natural limit of muscle, you've got a 10 out of 10 body, and at that point, the woman you can attract to be potentially the mother of your children is way up here because you are up here too. And I think that's probably the best way. That's potentially like, that is, to be honest, that the mind that I've had, I've just never truly been able to express it. I hope that woman up here doesn't mind me sleeping with all these girls first. She probably does. Maybe I will go celibate for the rest of my life. I'm gonna end it there, boys. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. If you like the unfiltered section, leave me. Actually, no, don't talk about the unfiltered section, because then all the spurgs will look at the comments and be like, wait, what's the unfiltered section? We don't want them to know. If you're gonna comment about something around here, kind of do it in like a non-baity way. Like, don't be like, oh yeah, the bit in the unfiltered section which you said that none of the spurgs should be watching at 17:06. Like, don't spurg out, bro. Keep it a secret.